So the other day, I was at one of my language exchange groups. In this case, my Japanese English language exchange. I'm learning Japanese, so I like to be around other people who either know the language or are in the process of learning it, so we can kind of connect. The reason I'm making this video, however, is because one of the people there, an American guy learning Japanese, he seemed pretty, I guess you could say, introverted or pretty shy there. And I'm kind of a recovering introvert myself. I've had to train myself to be a little bit more extroverted, to engage with people, and to kind of step out of my comfort zone in order to do that. My heart went out to him, and I kind of began a conversation with him, similar to how I was engaging with other people all around. So we talked about him. We talked about his interests, his desire for learning the language. He lit up when we talked about him and his interests and all his motivations and things like that. He had a lot to say. When I was asking him questions about himself, but it kind of seemed to eventually stall out because I think part of it was because he wasn't reciprocating any sort of questions or anything like that. And eventually what happened is, after I went to speak with someone else, he kind of went back into his bubble. He was playing around on his phone. I felt as if he felt a bit lonely, or like he would like to engage with people, but not quite sure how to go about it. So that's kind of what happened. I kind of tried to include him throughout the evening, but that's kind of what happened. I felt for him as a result of that. And the next day, he never asked me for advice, of course. But the next day, I decided, you know what? I'm just going to write this guy a letter. Not actually going to send it, but just write him what I would have wanted to hear when I was in that position, or what I wanted to hear when I was dealing with something similar. And I started to write this article about what I would want to hear. Well, how could I get out of that place if I did indeed want to engage with people and develop friendships and things of that nature? So I'm in the process of writing it. I have a few pages in right now, but I thought I'd make this video here and just kind of throw out a couple of ideas that people can use, at least in the meantime, before I get this letter or article out, whatever you want to call it, out. Um, I think one of the things that stops a lot of people who are shy or introverted from really engaging with others or learning to be social is a lot of the time they're caught up in their head, kind of what's this person going to think about me? What if I need to? They want to say the right thing. What if I don't say the right thing? What if it sounds stupid? What if, right? Lots of questions that's basically keeping the person paralyzed from stepping out of their comfort zone and taking any sort of action to engage with another person. So the first step, I believe, is get out of your head. It's a lot easier said than done, of course, especially if we've practiced being in our head our entire life. But it is doable, and it is something that will come with more practice. So get out of the head. And one of the best ways I've found to do that with other people is care about them. Care about what that person wants or what that person is interested in, or learning about that person's interests and anything of that nature. So a lot of times, because people are so concerned, introverted or shy people are so concerned with how they're going to be perceived or how they're going to come off in a public setting, that they completely neglect that many other people are probably thinking the same things about their own selves. Well, how are they going to be expressing themselves publicly? So one of the greatest things that I learned in this process is to learn to be interested in the other person. Learn to, and if you don't care about the other person, either A, go back into your hole and stay there, or B, learn to be caring about other people. Train yourself to care about another person. Maybe it doesn't come naturally to you to care, Maybe you're just innately someone who only thinks about yourself, your world, your needs, and your desires, which is a big part of the human condition. But one of the greatest things that you can do for your interaction socially in developing friendships and relationships is to genuinely learn to care about the other people and what's of interest to them. So, that being said, engage with the other person about themselves. Ask them what their interests are, what they care about, what they want to do with their lives, or whatever it might be. But generally speaking, if we can keep the conversations off ourselves and onto the other person, uh, anyone with any sort of social sense will eventually come back around and start talking about you as well. So don't worry about it. You'll get to talk about yourself most likely. But even then, it's not that big a deal. Just engage with the other people, learn to make friends with them, and one of the best ways to get out of your head, I'm going to repeat it, is just learn to care about the other person. Anyway, as I develop this article, I'm going to release it with a lot more tips regarding how I would encourage anyone that's trying to break out of their shyness or introvertness to be able to do that. And stay tuned for it, and I'll be putting it on my website soon.